Hello, Dynamic Duo over here.
And I'm Death Dealer Films.
And this is my first video in quite some time. I'm sorry, I've just been busy with school lately. Very busy.
It's been a busy year.
Yes. And so, to mark this amazing return, action. I wanted to do that. So, today we shall be discussing one of the major Doctor Who news. And before we talk about it, I just want to say I really haven't been that into Doctor Who this season. That I've kind of been a bit let down by Hellbent. But this news has restored my faith in Doctor Who. This is the first time I've been excited for something in Doctor Who since Jenna Coleman leaving, because we all agree she should have left in the 2014 Christmas special.
Oh yeah.
And that news is John Simm is returning as the Master. Jenks, you owe me a soda.
Okay. You just not get the soda.
So we're all excited about this. I mean, it's already been confirmed that Michelle Gomez is returning as Missy, which is the Master. So this would be the first time we have gotten two Masters in on screen.
Yeah, I think that this might make a good story, especially for the new season coming out.
Now I know some people haven't liked the Masters that much, saying that they're too crazy. The Master is like the Moriarty of Doctor who is cold, calculating, and murderous. What's the word for gentleman psychopath?
Sociopath.
So this would be the first time we have been seeing two Masters on the same screens.
Yes, this definitely might prove an actual challenge to the Doctor. He actually might have to use his brain a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, like, one psychopath is hard, but two psychopaths, which is the same person.
That's a dual personality. That's a weird combo.
Now, I haven't told you this yet, but there's also rumor that there was this set photo when they were filming on location, and next to Missy was a man dressed like the Master from the Third Doctor's era.
Yeah, so I didn't get to see the photo, but you did tell me about it, and I was really wondering why such the retro clothing.
Well, there's rumor that they might do. Remember in Rogue One with Grand Moff?
Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah. How they recreated him using
CGI
and a person that could very well mimic his voice.
Yeah.
That's rumored to be happening this season with the original Master.
So for all intents and purposes, we might actually get three Masters instead of two.
There's also rumors that there will be other Masters right now, but right now that's just a rumor. There's nothing to confirm that.
Yeah.
But the original Master, that one does have a bit of proof that I can believe.
Yeah. I believe that John Simm is a good addition, but if we are getting a third, how would they fit that into a story?
Exactly. Now, before we go into any more details, let's talk about how this news came to be. Now, during the press conference for episode 1 of season 10, the pilot,
yeah.
I really don't like that name.
No.
And so, they released this trailer, and they said, well, there's this giant spoiler at the end, so we're putting in, like, spoiler warning and a giant countdown before the spoiler comes up. And, well, that spoiler was John Simm. And it got leaked. Well, not the footage, but the news.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the heck did they do that? I mean, that's just stupid in my opinion. You just release major news that would have been so surprising. I mean, I never expected this to happen. This was not a thing before this news came out. I was I wasn't thinking, wouldn't it be great if John Simm came back? No, I thought he was done, because we now have a new Master.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
I agree with that. Don't get me wrong, John Simm is probably my favorite Master. He definitely is a little upstairs. and that's kind of my favorite characters. But after Parting of the Ways,
End of Time Part 2.
End of Time Part 2, he basically dies, if you will.
Disappears.
Yeah, how would he come back without really, or how would they make it canon, if I would say?
Yeah, well, we never knew how Missy returned as Missy. We know that Time Lords can regenerate into different genders, but we never saw that. So there's a rumor they just brought John Simm back for the regeneration. But in the news article, that Missy and the Master are on screen together, as we read.
Yeah.
Like Steve Moffat said, you have these two characters that are fighting against themselves, like a soul personality clash.
Yeah, this is definitely a big, how would you say, not a personality clash, but definitely they'd be butting heads a lot, trying to figure out how they would defeat the Doctor or what their plans were. So they'd definitely be butting heads a lot, which might make for an interesting story.
Now, let's talk about our theories. I will go first.
All right.
So, as we know that we are having multiple Cybermen also appearing from different eras. We have the Mondasian Cybermen, the David Tennant Cybermen, and the Matt Smith Cybermen that are still used today.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, now this is just a theory of mine, I think it's connected because Missy's also in the finale. So what I'm thinking is happening, how we can have these different versions of like the Cybermen and the Master is the key to time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that the story arc will be revolved around the key to time. That's how we can have multiple Masters, multiple Cybermen from different eras.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, in the end, I'm thinking John Simm's Master and Michelle Gomez's Master will be teaming up in the finale and into the Christmas special, Peter Capaldi's last episode. Mm-hmm. And it would make sense, in my opinion, mm-hmm. because the finale should head into the Christmas special. Because I know some people are saying that when Matt Smith final season finale didn't lead into his Christmas special. No, because we had the 50th between those two, and you wouldn't want your 50th anniversary to lead into something that is like an end of an era, why the show should be celebrating the past and future.
Exactly.
So to me, that is my theory on how we can have two masters. What's your theory?
Well, personally, I believe that in time travel, you don't die, you just disappear from a certain timeline. You'll just be reappeared into another timeline. When John Simm disappeared at the end of End of Time Part 2, he was dead in that timeline, but technically speaking, he would be alive in another timeline, somewhere else.
So, let me understand. You're saying that his timeline ended, mm-hmm. and Missy began a new timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I suppose that makes sense. But how does that explain how there's two masters?
Because the same way that there can be two doctors. Because in the 50th, we explained, was the wormhole effect?
Time window, I think that's what
the
they call it.
time window effect, where Matt Smith threw the fez and then ended up with David Tennant.
Oh, so he was entering his David Tennant's timeline.
Yes, because that was, the 50th was like, during their both of their timelines leading up to their eventual end of their timelines.
Oh yeah, that does make sense. They were both close to the end.
Yes, but we all know that the War Doctor
was also close to his end as well.
He was at his end at the 50th, so you can see the end was a regeneration process for him.
Can I just take a moment and say that we miss John Hurt?
Oh.
He was a wonderful actor, and he is really missed among us.
Dearly missed.
So what you're saying is that Missy might have took John Simm's Master before his timeline ended, like during those few minutes when the Master disappeared at the end of time.
Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't seem that his timeline really ended, but he just kind of disappeared from that specific timeline. Because in reality, we all have our own separate timelines. So instead of it disappearing from all time existence, then if John Simm was to disappear from all time existence, then I believe the Doctor would have been affected by that as well. Instead, the Doctor just regenerated, since they're the same species. As John Simm should have regenerated as well.
Which he did.
Which he
Missy.
did. But since he's now Missy, in an alternate timeline, it would lead up to end of time. So in an alternate timeline, Missy can take him.
So you're saying that each incarnation is its own timeline, that they're not connected to each other.
They are not all connected because they can all be different. They are all connected in a way.
So you're saying alternate universe
Exactly.
that this master is from a alternate universe
Like
or
an
alternate timeline because alternate universe and alternate timelines are different things, and we are not going to explain this.
No, that would take too long.
Yeah. So what you're saying that Missy took this master from alternate timeline in which he never disappeared with like the Time Lords at the end of time.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting theory.
It was just one of those ones that came out on the spot.
Well, we have to wait to find out because we don't know when John Simm will appear.
Oh.
We know he's going to be in the season. We know Missy's confirmed for episode 6, 7, 8, 11, and 12. So that's about 5 episodes. Oh, you know what would be amazing? If, like, you have, like, John Simm's master doing his own thing, like, being, like, having his own plan, and then you have Missy having her own plan.
That's where they would butt heads.
Yes. And, like, it just comes together.
That would be a very big ego clash, because I know the Master always has a massive ego.
I mean, like, we're all excited for this. I know I am.
I know I am.
So, I'm the Dynamic Dealer.
I'm Death Dealer Films.
And see you next time. Cut.
That's a wrap.